So here's another idea that I heard about on YouTube this week from another really cool. I'm gonna shout it out because it's a really good YouTube page. If you want to ever check it out, Astro Boo Baby. I've been following that for years and years and years. Really, really good energy guy with great energy. Uh, just so genuine, another genuine soul, and he's. In this particular episode, he's talking about the connection between 5G and beings that have spirit and beings that have soul. And he's saying that in our reality here, there are beings that are of the Matrix. So they're constructed by the Matrix, and they animate bodies that way. So they're spirit, but they're after beyond the Matrix. For them, there's nothing. It's just they are part of that Matrix, like Agent Smith or whatever. And then you have people with souls that can go beyond and travel and do that whole thing. Is that for you? Have you seen that type of thing?
Yeah, I experienced it like here, both in this world and in other places.
Okay.
And the way I understand it's more about like having consciousness and not having consciousness. Like
Yeah.
spirit and soul, both are good ways to put it. I'm also putting like a label of like consciousness because some people can act like like an Agent Smith, be fully alive, have all those things, but when you look there, there's nothing in there. Like it's completely empty. And that being like like for example, like tuning in that person, there's no consciousness, there's nothing to connect, nothing responds. And in other places, I was like, okay, looks fully alive, acts in all those ways, but there is no beingness, no consciousness there. And like, I was like having ubis where I had to check if people are actually like real and stuff, because some of them, you can cut their arm and they might react to pain like, oh yeah, it hurts, but still no beingness. It's more like an AI or an NPC, like with organic body, reacting to it like a program works, but nothing there. And okay, blow your shit up. Like, let's see if anything gets out. Like consciousness, nope, nothing there. So like, it's like a organic body walks with the NPC program mind, and that works. But that's where it stops. Like, so it does happen. Like, there are cases of these
Wow,
people.
that is frightening.
It sure is. Makes you wonder,
Freaky.
like, am I living in a world with like, am I the only real person here? Kind of like
I
that.
had that thought too. Sometimes I've had that very thought. Right? But like, how is there some way of? I mean, beyond like certain behaviors, is there a certain way to? What is the feeling? Is when you feel into them empathically? I have that ability too, and I always wonder what those beings feel like, and if I'm correct. Um, is it just like is there just like no? Is there a look in the eye that you can see, or is it really just under the surface? There's no surface type of thing that you can use to tell uh, whether someone operates in that way or not?
For me, it's kind of like difficult to answer because most of my experiences do not fit the normal human norms. Like I'm not the normal type of being who's gonna like, yeah, if you do this, that's gonna what you're gonna find out. Like that was a normal person would tell you. Like my story is different, and it doesn't match with like most people. So the way I check, like like okay, it feels empty and stuff. Like how do I check? So I can like have my consciousness. Let's say part of me will be. I will like mock up a body of mine, like create another body of mine. It's going to be, let's say, astral or spiritual. So I have my physical body here, I see it, but I can also have, let's say, my astral bond with that. Like, this is my second body. My second body will walk up to that person who I assume being an NPC, and I will poke it. Normal people are like, if I poke them in the back, their energy will pick it up and they respond to it. NPCs don't. Empty, nothing. So
Huh.
I can have my second body projecting feelings to them, intentions, and normal people will get a smile on their face or like feel different. Like I can like look people in the eye, and you can like actually like I am assuming that I am that person. So like right now I am Aquila, but let's say if you and I were sitting face to face for 15 minutes and I was looking you in the eyes and we were doing quiet mind, no thinking, nothing there, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna laugh or I'm gonna smile. and I have it inside myself. I don't say it, I don't express it, but I have the intention and I transfer it to you, and you will smile because I am you and you smile, or you are me and like we pick it up. Doesn't happen with NPCs. There's nothing there to pick that thing up, and that's the part of the consciousness that can like actually, hey, I felt you, like hey, and so it's another part of you. Like you and I were a mirror of each other. We're just like same kind of consciousness, just assuming different points of view, and eventually we can connect on one kind of level, like up there. And with NPCs, with people who have no consciousness, there's no connection. You can like have all this stuff go. You're trying to like, hey, I'm you. I'm gonna connect to you. Program does not respond to that, and I think that's the biggest difference.
So wow, that opens up what a can of worms that opens up, because first of all, are they powering this matrix? Secondly, like the fact that beings like that exist means that unless the programming of the place changes, they're going to be always operating for the best, out of the best interest of that system, right? So they're always going to be sowing division, or they're always going to be, there are always going to be beings that are going to support a system where we remain divided, right?
Yeah.
So, oh wow, that's crazy.
If we were to look at humanity like sheeps, and I don't like saying it, but if the humanity were like sheeps, the NPC, the program being, would be one that, like, let's say Dark said, okay, we need riots, we need to mess up the city, we need to mess up people, we just had Corona, it would have worked. Now we're gonna work with like Black Lives Matter, we're gonna fuck up some black people and then have them respond. And they're gonna cause the incident. It's like problem, reaction, solution. They're gonna cause a problem. Reaction is like, oh my god, it's terrible. But the thing is, the reaction also does not necessarily have to be about recent issues or like recent things that happened. But let's say they have their agents, the NPCs, without anything in there, no consciousness, but they will be the first ones to react and to go at it. And hey, we have our program, they're gonna like work for us, and they have their little minions doing their commands, but the rest follows. Conscious
Okay.
beings do not have awareness and they follow the crowd. And like, oh, this being's going, like, what's going on? Like, everyone else follows, and, it's easy to control people with a few, like, NPCs who actually are following the system. So, in that way, yeah, it's pretty much easy to rule it.
So that's how they get the consent of the majority, by using a couple. So it might not be a majority of people that are of that construct, but the minority that is will get others to follow. So
Exactly.
it's really about being aware,
Yeah.
which is another thing entirely, right? To get people to be aware of themselves.
Yeah.
And this was the interesting thing about 5G that he mentioned, that these spirit, or these constructs of the matrix, the 5G technology will allow for them to have uh, greater access to. It's kind of like their fifth dimension or their higher dimensions. Um, how is that so? How is that so for a an NPC or whatever? How is the 5G AI construct going to be a reality, an extended reality for them?
It's more like a hive mind mechanism where, let's say, with 5G and other things, they can have a program, and all of those beings, I can pick up like radio signal, whoever is attuned to that, because all these NPCs will be playing different roles. And one is responsible for, let's say, rioting and causing the anger. One of is like, I'm gonna portray the love, and like in a bad way. I'm gonna fuck up people on the love level and what it is and what sex should be like and stuff. So we have NPCs in a lot of places in our life, their life, where like, okay, it's just normal thing. Like, why would you expect any agents or like anyone from the dark side here? But they have those. And so with 5G, it's more like connecting everyone on the same level, and all of them respond at the same time to the same way. And now it's like, hey, easier to control and manipulate people even more.
Here's the thing with that. If we got this, I feel is like a matter of, it is a matter of consent, but how is the majority able to decide for you and me whether we should be going into that paradigm. I don't want to be part of that paradigm, and I'm sure you don't, and I'm sure many people don't. Why is it allowed? Why, this is such a specific uh, transgression against free will,
Yeah.
to force people into a specific paradigm. I might have signed a contract to be here, but I can revoke those things, and I don't, in this particular case, I don't want to be a part of that. So why, according to universal law, is that being allowed to transpire?
Well, one thing, most of the universal laws stopped working because the bad guys, let's say, hijacked the system. So now
Oh,
they have their own rules working, and like, hey, we just hacked the system when we wrote our own program. This is working awesome. That's one
oh,
side. Another thing, they're working on our perception. And our perception, the way we perceive life, is the way we create it. And even though we do not agree to the 5G, like, hey, I'm not getting any chips. I do not want 5G in my life. I want to be clean. They are pushing mainstream media and other places, and people who are watching it, majority of population is still being controlled, not in a way where they're going to agree to it, but they still perceive how good it is, or like in different ways, and the perception that they get is the way they believe. And there's this massive amount of creative beings who can manifest that future. So if they're portraying fear and how bad it is, all those people will attune to the present reality that was presented before them, will assuming this is the way it is and this is the only way. And now they're going to be part of the group who will create it. There's part of people like us, let's say, no, this is not the way it's happening, it's all controlled, we don't want that, our reality is different and we put it better. There's a group of people who are doing that, and they're creating this kind of like better reality. And both groups will experience life way differently.
mm,
Let's say the Earth where it's going right now, us, let's say, okay, no 5G, we won the war, we broke free, and now we finally have the planet for ourselves. All the dark side goes away, and we just like went to the reality where we won, and no 5G, no chips, no nothing. The other side that actually believed in it will experience reality different, where they actually have chips, where they have 5G, where they're going with the like singularity and different kind of things. So two different things.
I truly do feel like we're not headed there. We're headed towards something good. I really do feel that. And when my head tells me, when the mind says one thing, the gut is saying something else.
Exactly. Which is another thing, like our mind, our head is not our own. It's like an implant. The
Yeah.
personalities we have, also fake ones. Like most of them, like they can be just portrayed and we feel like it. Like, hey, all the cluster of entity can be personality and you feel it, you pick it up, you feel like, hey, it's me. Actually, the entities are also saying, hey, it's me. You know,
Mm. The antenna, right? You have an
yeah,
antenna.
exactly. So the way you perceive things, where actually things are gonna get ahead that way, feel that, believe that, and you're gonna be there. And like right now, this is the place in life where actually people who are awake, they're gonna win because they know the truth and their ability to see that they will be able to create the future for themselves where things are actually good. And that's where two groups will be going in different ways. And it's like having a strainer, and the good stuff will come out true and have their own stuff. And the filter, they didn't take the harsh stuff, and you're staying here.
That I really do. I believe that too. I feel that, and it's a positive, really positive note to end on. I have one more question actually
Sure.
on that note, because I see our time is ending. Um, do you feel that we're gonna heading in that positive direction? Do you feel a lot of people are saying, a lot of people that again I listen to are saying that it's going to be a reality where we will have more access to our ability to just our abilities in general, and B, our ability to manifest and be what we're meant to be as the connection, basically the physical connection between uh, source and this solid reality. Do you think we're headed there, or is it going to be something that's going to evolve over many, 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 many years, or is it going to be something where it's like 10 years from now we'll be bilocating, or maybe 20 years from now we'll be bilocating and doing those types of things?
I believe that it's already here and it already has happened. We're already on that new level. It's just that most people believe that things will change, like, oh, the planet will change. There will be something and we're gonna see it. We don't have to see it. We have to be aware of it. And
Mhm.
oh, I just became of my skills where I can actually access the past and like actually access my past lives and like have all information from there. If we are becoming aware of what we can do right now, you already are here. You already in that better reality where all this has happened. It's like it's another perception where most people expect something big to happen, where they're gonna see things escalate from the mainstream media and like all the disclosure and different kind of things happening. Yay! Finally, no, that's already happened. Like it's out there. It's just like we need to become more aware of it. But again, that's just my perception of it. But I'm seeing it. Like I believe it, and I'm like generally feeling it.
Me too.
People are more awake. People are like showing up, and like I used to like where are all those people who are awake? You know, like I'm like here's me, here's Rich, here's someone else. Like okay, we know what's going on, but the world's not going there. And then I changed. Like no, like humanity's awake. And all of a sudden, we have like over a million people watching an interview with David Icke and stuff like that. I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
here they are. Here they are. Like, so for me, I'm putting my attention there, I'm putting my focus, my awareness, and that's where I am, and that's what it's all becoming.
I love it. Yeah,
So,
and that's like an affirmation I say every day, you know, the same thing. We're headed there. This is what I want. And I think if we do that and we stick to that gut feeling, we're going to get there. Well, I mean, we're already there.
yeah. And that's another thing, like, the consciousness can see the end result before we are there. Like, you know, like, oh, yeah, I want a house. Well, the consciousness already saw the house and already you're living there. It's just that right now we have to build ourselves up and, like, do get some money, buy this, fill out some documents, blah, 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 all those steps. But the consciousness experienced the end result right away. So if we're like, you know, like, okay, like the humanity is awake, all of these things are happening or already have happened, the consciousness already experienced it all. It's just like your awareness is still stuck at that point, you know, like the beginning of everything. So if you can like move your awareness into I'm aware of everything in the future, like where I want to be. So like all of these like parts that we want to be, like I want to be a better singer, I want to be better this, and we just choose what kind of personality we want, what kind of life we want. If you see the end result already, and your consciousness does, you can like try being that every day. Practice what you want to have in the future right now, and you're gonna manifest it. You know, so that's the way I am like trying to create my reality, and I'm doing it, and it's like succeeding, and I'm loving it. Like I'm not living in fear. I'm not worrying. Like this coronavirus was one of the best things that's happened in my life. I'm succeeding. I'm having fun, and like you know, not to say like you know, like hey, I'm lucky and I'm arrogant and stuff like that, but I'm creating my reality where everything's better, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Likewise. Great note to end on.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you very much. Great session.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure talking to you.